Alright, welcome back everybody to Tactics Ogre. Now we just did the first step in the journey to recruiting the, I think it's Cassandra or something like that. We'll talk about this in just a second.
Approaches. Now we will take what they took from us.
Their leader is as much of a corpse as they. The dead leading the dead? Something foul is afoot.
So, if we think about the previous episode where we met the Sybil, she was by herself. You know, obviously there were zombies all over the place that she was trying to heal. But from that point of view only, if you ignore what we do from the neutral playthrough, she is just a random Sybil trying to heal trying to solve the undead problem, but get caught in the middle of it and end up dying. You don't know that she's related to Nibeth. You don't know that this up here, Devald, is her brother. You don't know why. I mean, there's too many questions here. Were they together? Did they get separated? Did Devolve get made after they got separated? Did Nibeth make him the way he is now after the fact? When the Sybil, his sister, was not around. Just playing this perspective alone, he's just some random enemy, you know what I mean? He's nothing, he's just a general, like Hector. He's here, you have to fight him, you have to get through him. And then once you do, he's a nothing. It doesn't matter to the storyline. But when you play neutral, you realize that, oh, not only is this guy related to Nibeth, he's like his son or son-in-law, and his head is attached to his body, but it's, his rebirth into life is not complete. On the one hand, he's about as close as you get to success with the necroman, the undead, because what ends up happening, and they'll address this once we get to the next area with Nibeth and Cassandra, is when they wake the dead, you either get to retain your body or you get to retain your mind. Okay? When you retain when you're able to pull the soul back from hell or heaven or wherever and place it into a body, the body rots away. Okay? And when you're able to revive the body perfectly, the soul does not attach to that original body. It does not. You cannot attach the original soul and the original body and put them together to create an unending living thing. Death comes, takes the soul from the body, and you can revive the body, but it will have no brain, no soul. Or you can take the soul and attach it to a different body, but it won't be the original body, and it will degrade. It will more than likely degrade or turn to a skeleton, essentially. So two of the enemies that you can fight that are non-zombies, okay, that when you kill them, they are downed, but they don't disappear. You have to excise them. Are the two that are standing on this particular level. You have the skeleton and you have the I don't know what they call them in this game. We'll call them wraiths. They're the bodiless floating hoods, these guys. They have, at least in my lore, brain, pretend, they appear to have their bodies. I mean, I'm sorry, their souls, but they have no body. You know, they're bodiless entities. You know, they're floating souls, if you will, that are brought back to this universe. Whereas the skeletons, they have a physical body, but I don't know if they have a brain or a soul. They're just sort of lifeless husks. Now you could say that kind of in reverse as well. You could say, well, you don't know that floating wraith doesn't have, you know, is a soul and has thought and consciousness. It could not have a soul / consciousness, and it could be just like the skeleton, where it has no soul. And again, you could also say that maybe the skeleton, though his body has degraded, has a soul. It's just that his body is degraded to such a point that he's sort of a soul trapped into a skeleton, neither fully able to live nor die. Death is such a terrible concept, isn't it? I mean, it serves its purpose in this world. You know, you're walking along, earthquake happens, whatever. Earth opens up, you fall down into a crevice. You know, what's the solution? The only solution is you either get rescued or you die. Or you exist forever in that crevice. Because you're stuck. You know? I know if you exacerbate this topic long enough, well, you say, well, I'd use my fingernails to dig a hole and then create a foot thing and then move my feet, and slowly but surely I'd make my way up out of that crevice if I lived forever. That's possible, but say you broke your arm or your leg, or both arms and both legs on the way down. Your body's mangled in an accident, say. What are your options? I mean, your options are to suffer in pain every day or die. You know, I understand if we live in a fantasy world or a science fiction world, well, maybe we could have those arms and legs removed, replaced with robotic arms and legs. Well, you know, robotic arms and legs aren't quite at the point where they are like human arms and legs. Plus, one of the nice things about being a flesh-driven human thing is that my body is an organic thing that repairs itself. Now, if you deal damage enough to it badly enough, yeah, it's not going to repair itself. You know, you tear a tendon or something, you're going to need to go get that repaired at a doctor's office, if they can repair it at all. You know, I cut my finger off, I could possibly have that reattached. The finger, you know, loses too much blood, degrades too much. No, the finger goes away. It stays away forever. You don't get it replaced. You know? Whereas the robot, if you want to repair the robot, the machine, it wears down after so long, you have to replace it with different parts. You know? It doesn't repair itself automatically. But because the body degrades through some intelligent or unintelligent design, eventually, you know, when your body stops growing, it starts to slow, and then it stops repairing as quickly, you know. And, you know, the whole death thing is fucking, makes me want to fucking crawl out of my skin, and, you know, because your mind can't accept it, you know. Logically speaking, you can understand why it exists. And when it happens to other people, you go, it's a tragedy. I'm so sad that my friend is gone, my husband's gone, my wife is gone, my children, whoever's gone, you know? And sometimes maybe that's even more painful than actually just leaving this world. But, you know, for your ego, it's not. It's you dying is the worst thing in the world. Because you cease to exist, you cease to be. I try not to think about it because it just drives me up a fucking wall. It's particularly bad in the wintertime when I'm sleeping, you know, because in the wintertime it's either before or after the new year, which is a time marker. Time markers drive me nuts because you think back on everything you've done up to this point, you know, because it's a physical thing where things change. You know, you don't really think about January to February, though you could. But when you think about, okay, it is March. 4 months of the year is already gone. I've spent a third of this year so far is already behind me. You know, I've got 2/3 left to live of this year. And then the calendar turns over. And that honestly is only just sort of the marking of how long it takes for the Earth to go around the sun once, you know? But for man, it's a marker of time. It's a marker of change. You've done one full rotation. You've done 10, 20, 40, 100 rotations around the sun. You know? And what have you accomplished in that time? You know? And what does it matter? You know? Nothing matters, not at all, matters a little, matters a lot. I don't know. I know that society, as we speak of today, is built on the backs of all that have come before us. So we don't get ahead by sitting and doing nothing. We sit by innovating. We improve the future generations by improving ourselves now. Whether that's societally speaking, governmentally speaking, technologically speaking, etc. You know, make things better for the next generation. That's like the basic goal of life, at least in my opinion. You know, obviously you could have a different opinion. Your opinion could be, okay, I am alive. I have who knows how many years to live. Let's make the most of it. Let's have as much pleasure and sex and friends and drinking and debauchery and who cares what happens afterwards, because I'm dead. Doesn't matter. I'm dead. And I'm just going to do whatever the fuck I want because I only have so many days on this earth. So let's make the most of it. And and in a way, I give you 2 thumbs up for that because that's 100% true. You only have so many days in this world. Make the most of it. Make the most memories. Make the most. But at the same time, I only backtrack from the full 2 thumbs up on that statement because your success, your happiness should not cause others misery in place, you know? You know, whatever that means. Stealing, you know, debauchery, you know, ruining other people's lives just so you feel better about yourself. You know, using other human beings to do your bidding, to be a sexual outlet, to be a monetary outlet, so you do the least amount of work and get the most out of it, you know. But I suppose if you think about it the other way, I mean, like, what good is there to be good, you know? I mean, there is good to be good. It's good to be good because it's the right thing to do, morally speaking, and helping others makes their life better. It makes your life better. It makes your community better. It makes the world better because you're not preying on other people, and they're not turning around and hopefully preying on other people. You know, where, you know, you're afraid to go to your mailbox because you're afraid you're going to get gunned down because someone wants in your house to steal your items. And why do they want to steal your items? Because they have basic needs. Or maybe they're greedy. I don't know. I'm not sure. I know why people steal, but, you know, there's not always a good reason why you need to break into someone's house and steal something other than you are avarice or greedy or just plain hateful. Like, whatever. Anyways, we're getting near the end of this episode. I've got Devolved basically in a corner. We're gonna do the little plus thing here and send 4 guys to hell. And then a couple more turns we'll have Devolved down, and then that'll be the end of this episode. Or I'll just kill him now.
To die again.
Be killed again. Yeah, you play neutral, you know what he means, because he had his head replaced onto a human body, which is, like I said, is about as close as Nybeth ever got to full resurrection.
Ruin to the Wallisters in Almorica.
Looks like she was telling the truth about the dead meaning ill for Almorica. We must return at once.